A look at how perfect parking in Japan has gone high-tech as we welcome you back to Techno Tokyo, our half-hour special examining cutting-edge technology from Japan. But we shift gears now, back again to robots. Now, as far as robots for the home go, actual full-size robots living with actual everyday families, as you can see, it is starting to happen.
ニュースの時間です。お聞きになりますか?
Meet Wakamaru. He, or she, is about a 4-foot-tall robot actually being used and tested right now in a handful of Japanese homes. Wakamaru is a human interface robot. In other words, he's not designed to bring you a soda, do the housework, and generally be your high-tech slave. Instead, he's designed to keep you company and maybe keep you organized.
まず彼の名前は若丸と言います。
He can communicate with you and can work as kind of a secretary. So owner inputs schedule, and when time comes up to do something, he reminds the owner. Also, he's connected to the internet, so he receives email and read it out aloud, and will also read the news and weather from the internet. On top, there's a camera, so he sees what's moving all over 360 degrees. It also picks up GPS, so he knows where he is. The two dots that looks like the eyebrows, the right side is a camera which uses facial recognition to know who he's talking to, and the left side is the microphone.
And while Wakamaru was also recently tested to see how he'd do as a security guard checking student IDs, ultimately he's one of several robots aimed at helping to care for or comfort the elderly as the senior citizen population in Japan begins to outweigh youngsters. Now, this robot will also talk to you, but not necessarily to keep you company. He's more designed to keep you healthy. Poporo is being billed as the world's first tasting robot. Yes, in or out of the wrapper, he can tell you what type of food you put in front of him, how much sugar, carbohydrates, calories, etc. it carries, and whether or not the food is fresh or has gone bad.
Actually, the technology inside this arm, we use the technology of infrared spectrum. Infrared spectrum has a special feature that by using IR infrared, we can estimate the ingredients of inside of the food.
And though this version isn't even out yet, developers are already working on one you can take with you to taste the food or even the wine at restaurants. The plan to shrink the device down and integrate it into cell phones. Oh, and incidentally, if you and I were stuck on a deserted island and we ran out of food, fry me up, and apparently I'm the next best thing to bacon. You're bound to say it at least once during a 2-week series on Japanese technology, so go ahead, now's a good time. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. This is a human being. The exoskeleton he's wearing is the robot under development at Tsukuba University. It's called Hybrid Assistive Limb, HAL for short, and anyone who wears it has potential to lift up to 10 times the weight they normally could.
It depends on his original power because this robot suit is controlled by the assist ratio. For example, usually we set about 50% or 6 or 70%. If he is a very weak person, at that time the assist ratio is 90%. So at that time you said just before 10 times.
HAL works by figuring out what the wearer's muscles are doing. The suit then simply reacts.
Command signals from the brain transmitted to the muscles through the motor neurons, and we can detect such kind of very faint bioelectrical signals on the surface of the skin, and these signals are calculated in the computers here. And after that, the computer controls these power units. So he can he can upgrade his power.
And believe it or not, sometimes the suit interprets those electrical signals more quickly than the wearer's muscles. In other words, it moves before the human muscle does. And the next big test for HAL comes this summer when a Japanese physical therapist will actually carry one of his patients, a polio patient, all the way up to the top of a mountain in the Swiss Alps. After that, the challenge will be helping people who've lost control of their limbs climb on their own.
One of the patients who comes to my laboratory loses his legs. So now we are preparing, we are developing for his artificial legs by using these technologies.
Developers expect when the suit becomes commercially available, they hope within the next few years, it'll likely cost somewhere around $20,000. So you may be asking, what is it with the Japanese and robots? Well, it's not just developers over there trying to flex their engineering muscles. As Japan increasingly becomes a graying society with an ever-expanding senior citizen population, robots may become a necessity. It's a subject sociology professor Kenji Kiyonaga studies at Japan Women's University.
In 30 years, 1/3 of the population will be elderly in Japan. So if someone asks to bring tea, but there is no one to bring tea, in that case, a robot should do the kind of service to the human being. It's also important to help fill the emotional needs that may be missing for some of the elderly in the form of companionship. Robots can bridge gaps between two people or between humans and machines.
And the Japanese government, also recognizing that need, plays a huge part in getting these robots from imagination to reality. An organization called NATO, the New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization, offers up lots of grant money to anyone in robot development.
It has been our main concern to promote industrial robots, and that has reached a good level, but not in domestic or social fields. So now we are trying to put more money and energy and technology into robots that help ordinary people in their daily lives.
NATO actually hopes to have robots fully integrated into society within the next 25 years or so. One more quick break here, after which cell phone technology way ahead of what we have, and toilets. Yes, high-tech toilets.